Let's move on to basketball.
Yeah.
Nebraska basketball did not have a bad week. Now, I want to preface that by saying it's never great. You always want people to stick around and all the rest, but basketball is different than football. There are reasons why it's different. It's not, and one of the reasons that it's different is there's so many different teams and there's so many different professional basketball options after you play in college that it's something closer to career development. And so Nebraska lost 3 guys who had two of them were not going to play at Nebraska. That was a Kolarov, who's had knee issues and whatever. And I still think he can be a really good player, but it wasn't going to happen here. And Elijah Wood, who reclassified from 20 to 2021 and probably should have stayed in high school. And then Ivan Udrago, who, I think had become the number 3 center. Probably wasn't going to play very much unless somebody got hurt. And he was going to be the number 4 center because I think, I don't want to say that Wilhelm Bredenbach's a center, but they are going to use him, I think, a little bit at that high post situation, the way that they used Derek Walker. So in basketball, I'm just telling you that the transfers that often happen with a lot less heat. Like, it's very straightforward. It's very matter of fact. Nebraska had met with all of these guys very quickly. Like, it was Saturday, Sunday, Monday. The Ducks were all lined up, 5 days after the season ended. It wasn't this protracted, will Wandale go or won't he? Will Luke go or won't he? It's not like that in basketball. On the occasions that it's that Andrew White decision that absolutely crushed Nebraska, and that doesn't happen very often. So in basketball, there's a certain bottom line reality, and so guys leave pretty quick, and there's no animosity. You saw the messages from the players. There's no animosity there. It's just hey, we got to find you somewhere where you can get playing time, because that's what you need in order to get to this level of basketball in your home country or wherever you want to play. So it's very straightforward stuff. So they lost 3 guys that at the end of the day, they need other places. They got a guy back in Kobe Webster who could have gone professional. He's not that old though. He's 20. I think he's still 21, and he's a younger guy, and he's going to turn 22, I think, this year. I still think he can probably take his game to another level, and he can have another year on tape to play the Georgia Techs and the Creightons, and then a full Big Ten slate. Maybe he averages 11, 12 points a game. Maybe he learns a little bit more about how to shoot those 3-pointers. Just boom, catch, boom, rhythm, shoot, and turn down some of those mid-range jumpers and keep shooting when he catches the ball. I think that's a big addition for them to get him back. I don't know that Kobe Webster was going to necessarily come back. And I think things changed when he started making threes, and I think he believes in where Nebraska's going. Decisions yet left to be made. Thor needs to make one. He's going to turn 23 soon in May. It's up to him. Again, you can play all over the world. You can play in multiple places each year, and he's going to have to decide if what he can do in a professional league, whether it's in Iceland or somewhere else, is better than what he could do coming back. And then I suspect Shamil Stevenson, although he's just a junior, will have a decision to make too, because he's 23 in April. So again, I suspect Shamil could play professional basketball. So you it's a little bit different than football, where in football, if you don't make the NFL, there's the CFL, and the CFL has very specific rules about how long you play there and all that's a very different game, and they do a nice job of protecting it. And then you've got the XFL, which is kind of defunct, and then you've got that other league, which is kind of defunct because of the pandemic. And so you're basically stuck with the NFL or the CFL, and that's about it. And so a lot of guys opt coming back because it either comes, I'm going to take one more year to see if I can get better and go into the NFL, or I'm going to start my coaching career, or I'm just going to go on and do something else with my life. In basketball, you can, you can make a career out of. You turn 21 years old and you can go play a lot of different places. Delano Banton, I think, will be back, even though, again, he can probably go play some places. I think Delano has an opportunity, and they believe Delano has an opportunity to play in the NBA, and he needs to get bigger and more physical and stronger. And the best chance for him to do that is in a collegiate strength program versus doing it on his own.
It seems like this isn't going to be one of those years that we've seen the last couple with total roster overhauls. So like, what's the value of that? And is it accentuated in Fred Hoiberg's system? Just having guys who know what they're doing as opposed to coming in and kind of learning it on the fly. Like how valuable is that going to be moving forward into next year?
Valuable in this circumstance, yeah. I think you're going to see at least 3, Minnesota, Penn State, and Indiana, sort of shift the way. I mean, they're going to start over, and then I think there's 2 or 3 more teams that are really going to hit the reset button in a way that roster wise, where they're not going to be any better than Nebraska. Let's put it that way. Still remains to be seen because of the NCAA COVID rules, but I suspect that Wisconsin's going to be a very different basketball program. And I suspect that Rutgers is going to be very different after this season. And we'll see with Maryland. I think all the guys from Maryland are probably going to come back. They certainly can come back, and their 2 best players are juniors. So there's that. There's the piece of I think Hoiberg actually likes coaching these guys. I think the chemistry now that Allen is gone is pretty darn good. I think they like that, and I just think they like where the program's at the given moment, despite being 7-20. When you look at what they've got back, and then you presume this: nobody gets hurt. Nobody got hurt this season. Nobody gets hurt. You get, I don't know, the stuff over the summer, then you get 40 practices or something. I don't know, 25, 30 practices. You get all that. You add Bryce McGowan's as a wing. You add Wilhelm Breedenbach as a third post, maybe a second post. You never know. Kaishe Tamanaga is an off-the-bench shooter. I think your starting lineup could be Trey, Kobe, Lat, Walker, and then you got to think about Thor. Is Thor coming back? If he does, maybe Thor. If he doesn't, maybe that's Bryce McGowan's. Maybe that's Delano Banton. Maybe that's a transfer wing.
Because they have a couple.
I think they're going to go after a couple of transfers. So I think they're going to go after a wing. And what we define as a wing is sort of a taller, longer guy that can defend, but also shoot and also drive. They could really use a guy who can shoot and drive and is quick. I mean, no crap, right? But Teddy Allen was a wing, right? Mm-hmm. And then they're going to probably try to add a transfer guard. So a guy like Kobe Webster.